a fun one is when we were new members at Long Beach State, and Laura had one of her harebrained ideas, which she's had lots of, Ethel-like, Lucy-like harebrained ideas, and it was to bring cakes to some of the fraternities on campus that we didn't socialize with a lot. She wanted us to sort of branch out. And so she made Halloween costumes for us, and we were tigers, and I actually have a picture of us in our tiger costumes. And we took these Halloween cakes to these fraternities that we didn't really know very well. And one of them that we went to, I was pretty sure that they had decorated for Halloween because their house was kind of scary.
It was scary.
And then we realized that was what their house looked like.
Yeah, they had hairballs and
we dropped off the cake and we got out of there really fast.
I had a very crazy roommate, and she was the social chairman. And she thought really bigger than anybody else. So this famous Hotel Biltmore in Santa Barbara had a little addition which was right out in front on the ocean, which was sort of a private small club, smaller than the hotel. And it was called the Coral Casino. Well, for Sweetheart Dance, we'd all been going just to hotels, Not Marilyn. She went and sweet-talked the Coral Casino into letting us have our Sweetheart Dance there. That was so wonderful. We were the first sorority. We were in the Coral Casino, and how did they do that? Well, my roommate thought big. And that was another fun thing.
As my mother enjoyed reminding me over the years, I had majored in Alpha Phi and minored in music, and that served me very well because early on in Alpha Phi, at the house, in the sorority on campus, traveling later, moving around and being the music consultant for Alpha Phi, I had enough music knowledge to make a few things happen with a chorus or a little small group, but I wasn't a musician's musician.
When I was at Northwestern, one summer I lived on campus in the Gamma Phi house because they had kept it open and they rented out rooms. And my roommate there was a Delta Gamma. And she was offered the job of editing the Delta Gamma and Cora, and she turned it down. And I thought, I just loved it. Edit the Alpha Phi magazine. And sure enough, your dreams come true. And 3-4 years later, I was asked to edit the Alpha Phi Quarterly.
One of my favorite things was once a quarter we had a faculty wine and cheese. No boys allowed, no outsiders, just Alpha Phis and professors or TAs that we would invite. And it gave us one-on-one time to talk to professors. Sometimes professors you only saw in giant lecture halls. And they would come and they felt honored to be invited. They loved being here. And I don't know that that happens as much anymore. I don't know that inviting them for tea and lemonade brings as many professors. And that's to their detriment.
When I graduated from college, I just was completely into getting a job and having a career, and I was not at all involved with Alpha Phi as an alum. It wasn't until, it was interesting, I became a CPA, I worked for a CPA firm, and I had occasion to drop something off at a client's office. And somebody reached out to me and said, I understand you're an Alpha Phi. She worked at that client's office, and she said, I don't know if you know this, but Vicki Wagaman works here. And I said, oh my God, Vicki Wagaman Riley, actually was her maiden name, was a sorority sister of mine in my era. And so I was so excited to go drop this thing off and meet Vicki and see Vicki again. And so she happened to say to me, we really need a finance advisor at Beta Delta. She said, I'm the rush advisor and we need a finance advisor. Would you be interested? So at that point in time, it was 10 years after I had graduated, And I thought, maybe, why not? So I tried it. And 20 some years later, I was still involved as an alum. Very involved, actually.
You think Alpha Phi impacts my life? Let me tell you. When I was working at the executive office there in the second year after being a field rep, I started working with Butler University and became friends, because I had been there several times, with Jane Mead, and she was a charter member at Butler. I helped them with Rush in the spring, and the next fall they asked me to come back to the chapter. They were going to have a hayride in Indiana under a harvest moon, and they had a date for me. Turns out it was Jane's brother, Russell Mead, and kind of like Alpha Phi, it was love at first sight. And that's been 46 plus years ago, but I always thought Jane had gone through Rush at Butler and was supposed to be a Kappa, and it didn't work out because her sister-in-law was a Kappa. But that's a good thing, because the Alpha Phis came in that winter and pledged a wonderful charter group, and I always thought if Jane was a Kappa, I would never have been married to Russell Mead.
I remember getting a phone call late one night, probably was 3 o'clock in the morning, and the reception was very poor, and I thought it was maybe a crank call, and it was a student who was a collegian at a chapter where I was advising in Illinois, and she was calling me from Italy, and she was telling me that she was on vacation with one of her chapter sisters, and they had taken a cruise, and they met these two very cool girls they thought were so much fun to be with, and after spending the entire day together, they discovered that they were all Alpha Phis. And I thought, isn't that extraordinary to be the recipient of that news, but also to see the excitement that this 19, 20-year-old felt because she had met someone else who shared Alpha Phi with her. And I think that was I felt very honored to be a part of that.
Mostly I was Judy at home, but for some reason they put Judy K on my name tags, and so my husband still knows it's Alpha Phis calling when they ask for Judy K, because that became my Alpha Phi name.